Last month, Google announced the successor to the Google Wi-Fi, now named the Nest Wi-Fi. Now, the Google Wi-Fi had been one of the top-selling mesh Wi-Fi routers out there now for the past couple of years, so any change that Google was going to make to this product, we knew it would be significant. Now, I've had the Nest Wi-Fi router as well as the Nest Wi-Fi point now for the past couple of days, and in this video, I'm going to give you the rundown on what's new with the Nest Wi-Fi, how it compares to the Google Wi-Fi, my first impressions of the device, and some recommendations and suggestions if you're stuck between getting one over the other. Let's dive in. So what's new with the Nest Wi-Fi? First, let's talk design. The design of both the Nest Wi-Fi router and the Nest Wi-Fi point are definitely a design departure from the hockey puck design the Google Wi-Fi sports. The Nest Wi-Fi has a matte finish, allowing the ambient light pickup of its surface to be a little bit more subtle. And overall, I think these devices blend into their environment better. Though the primary Nest Wi-Fi point that connects to the modem is a bit larger than the Google Wi-Fi puck. The Nest Wi-Fi also comes in more colors than the Google Wi-Fi, and you can order any color you want on the Google Store. Another design departure for the Nest Wi-Fi is the abandonment of the USB-C power cord that the Google Wi-Fi uses. The Nest Wi-Fi actually uses the same barrel jack power cord that you can find with the Nest Mini. One gripe I have with these newer Google Power Jacks is they take up much more room on a power strip than the old Google Wi-Fi ones did, which are much more compact. Another area where the Nest Wi-Fi differs from Google Wi-Fi is that with Google Wi-Fi, each puck router, all of them have 2 Ethernet ports. With the Nest Wi-Fi, this is not always true. You have your main Wi-Fi routers that have the jacks, and then the Nest Wi-Fi points, which act as Nest Minis. The points do not have Ethernet ports. Google does sell packs of the Nest Wi-Fi system that just use the Nest Wi-Fi routers as the mesh points, and it skips the Google Assistant enabled Wi-Fi points altogether. The Nest Wi-Fi point with the Google Assistant integration is probably one of the most unique things about the Nest Wi-Fi system. And that's because in order for a mesh Wi-Fi system to work, the Wi-Fi points actually need to be in prominent places in your home. They need to be on tables, on just out in the open in prominent places. They should not be behind furniture or tucked away in a cabinet. So by adding the Google Assistant to the Nest Wi-Fi point, Google just added another level of functionality to this device. So it is no longer just a Wi-Fi point, but it also acts as a Nest Mini speaker, which is going to make it much more likely that people will put these in prominent places in their home and will reap the benefits of having a better performing mesh Wi-Fi system. You can use the touch controls on top of the Wi-Fi point to control the speaker just as you would with the Nest Mini. However, instead of the 4 glowing dots at the top of the speaker like with the Nest Mini, the Nest Wi-Fi point has a glowing ring at the bottom that reflects off whatever surface you place the point on, and it looks pretty good. It will also change colors based on what you're doing for things like phone calls or muting the speaker, just like with the Mini. The sound quality of the Nest Wi-Fi point is pretty good too, though we'll continue to test how well it sounds compared to a Nest Mini. Google also added some nice features for the Wi-Fi point in its settings. Like if you keep the Nest Wi-Fi point muted, you can turn off the light that's emitted from the bottom so you're not constantly seeing the mute light on. You also have full control over the brightness of the light on the Nest Wi-Fi router as well, just like you did with the Google Wi-Fi router. Also, at the time of this recording with the Nest Wi-Fi, you can actually run internet speed tests through any of your Google Assistant devices, including devices like the Nest Hub Max and the Nest Mini. Now, in terms of performance, the Nest Wi-Fi does have improvements over the Google Wi-Fi system. For example, Google says that if you have a Nest Wi-Fi router and a Nest Wi-Fi point, those 2 devices together will cover the same area that it would take 3 Google Wi-Fi points to cover. The Nest Wi-Fi router has newer Wi-Fi standards, while the Nest Wi-Fi point seems to have the same supported Wi-Fi standard as the Google Wi-Fi router just by looking at the tech specs. However, the Nest Wi-Fi does have updated security with the latest WPA3 standard. Now, in my limited testing so far, the range, it actually does seem to be better than with the Google Wi-Fi system I had before. I completely replaced my Google Wi-Fi points with Nest Wi-Fi points, and the reason I actually have two Google Wi-Fi points is I got the additional one to pump out enough signal across the street to my garage so I could control it with my smartphone. And while the signal I had at the garage wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was like borderline weak signal, but it worked well enough where the garage got, good enough signal. The Tesla was able to download updates from the internet over Wi-Fi. Well, when I replaced the Google Wi-Fi points with Nest Wi-Fi, now the signal I get out to the garage is like borderline excellent, like it's almost full bars. The Nest Wi-Fi router will cover 2,200 square feet, and the Nest Wi-Fi point will cover 1,600 square feet, where with the Google Wi-Fi points, those only cover up to 1,500 square feet. Setting up the Nest Wi-Fi is a little different than setting up the Google Wi-Fi. You now have to use the Google Home app instead of the Google Wi-Fi app for setup. It still works just as easily as it did in the Google Wi-Fi app because the Nest Wi-Fi router and points are compatible with the Google Wi-Fi routers. During the setup, you'll have the option to add your Nest Wi-Fi devices to an existing Google Wi-Fi network. Now, some of the more advanced features in the Google Wi-Fi app have not been ported over to the Google Home app just yet, so you will still need the Google Wi-Fi app if you need those advanced features. However, do note at the time of this recording, and this isn't going to apply to everyone out there, but if you're like me and you have a Google Wi-Fi system and you're like, yeah, I want more Google stuff, let me just replace everything with Nest Wi-Fi points. Well, there's a slight problem with doing that if you want to keep the same network that you have with your Google Wi-Fi points. Unfortunately, I have not been able to figure out how to switch the primary Google Wi-Fi point, which within the Google Wi-Fi app, your primary point is what is considered, it's the point that just connects to the modem, right? The internet is coming through the Ethernet cable to the router. Google Wi-Fi is like, okay, great, that is your primary point. Well, if you want to replace that point with the Nest Wi-Fi router and do it so that the Nest Wi-Fi router just carries on all of the characteristics of your existing network, there's no actual way to do that when you just try to add the Nest Wi-Fi router to your existing Google Wi-Fi setup. It's just going to consider it an additional Wi-Fi point and not a primary point. Unfortunately, the only way I've been able to figure out how to replace all of my Google Wi-Fi points with Nest Wi-Fi points is by just setting up my Nest Wi-Fi points as a new network. Now, if you're looking for a new mesh Wi-Fi system for your house and are trying to decide between the Google Wi-Fi and the Nest Wi-Fi, my advice would be to go with the Nest Wi-Fi if you want better coverage and like the appeal of the Wi-Fi points being Google Assistant speakers. Now, if you're more cost conscious and you see a good deal on the Google Wi-Fi, then I'd say go for it. Now, if you want the best performing Google-made mesh Wi-Fi system available today, Google actually sells a 2-pack of the Nest Wi-Fi routers, so there's no Nest Wi-Fi point in that 2-pack. It's just 2 of the routers, so if you don't care about having a Nest Wi-Fi point with the Google Assistant, I would say go for the 2-pack, and we'll link a bunch of these different packs and stuff in the video description below in case you're interested. Well, that's it for our first impressions of the Nest Wi-Fi. We'll be doing a deeper dive into the Nest Wi-Fi in our 6 months later review of the device next year. Now, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest with Google products and see other Google product videos like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button below. Well, for 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.